Oops. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning. It is, again, Monday morning, and we're back with Real Talk with Deb and Will. It is a pleasure to be here this morning. We hope that you had a great weekend, although it was a bit soggy here in the Tampa Bay area. But it is summertime. And frankly, I'm used to it raining every day, but I'm not really good with it raining all day, every day. If it just rained like at 3 in the morning to 5 in the morning, that'd be cool. But
we don't have that choice.
right now it's been raining pretty much every day, pretty much any time during the day. So
it's the price you pay for living in the tropics.
It is.
I'm okay with that.
It never snows here. Statistically, it never snows here. I was here in 77 when it snowed, but it never snows here. And in February, you can go play golf. So there you go. All right. We're going to sort of double back on a topic that we always touch on, but we want to get into it a little deeper. What is the most important relationship in your house? And I know a lot of you will think that, especially those of you who have children, that the children are the most important thing, because that's how we've been living our lives in this country for a long time. It's the kids. Everything is child centric. Everything, every place you go has to be child friendly. There are businesses now that will come and child proof your house, which is interesting. It's an interesting word that they get child proof your house when there's children inside. I don't understand what that is, but to make sure that the children don't get into anything. You go to visit somebody's house with a small child, they put everything breakable up so the kids can't, so the child can have free reign. Everything is about the kid.
So your house goes into chaos because you have a child.
Yes. And that's kind of how we've been told by the experts, especially in America, to live. I don't know if that's so good. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that it isn't. So we're going to get into that a little bit today for people, especially people who have children, especially people I think who have younger children. I don't think it's this. I think that having older children still in the house is a completely different conversation. But I think what we're talking about is younger children. So Deb,
because you asked the question of many married people who have, say, children from 1 to 9 or something like that. What is the most important? What is the most important thing in the household? And you think it's the children, but of course, it's important to take care of your children, to feed them, clothe them, keep them in a dry environment and warm and protected.
So you shouldn't leave them in the yard.
No.
Overnight, if they misbehave, he's like, nope, you gotta stay in the yard. That's probably not good.
Chained to the tree.
Chained to the tree. That'll probably get you in jail.
Yeah, that will get you in jail.
And good, because you're crazy.
But the children are not the most important thing in your marriage, because what should come first is your relationship. Most people get married first, and that is the most important part of your relationship, and then the children come. But now you see a lot of. That's not the norm, because a lot of people have their children way before they actually commit to each other in the marriage portion.
Isn't that part of the problem though?
I think so.
Because when you have the kids first, then and that becomes your level of commitment when you have the children first, because you hear guys say all the time, well, I take care of my kids. Well, you didn't even marry their mother. How are you taking care of your kid? You didn't marry their mother. You didn't even do something that doesn't cost you anything really. You still bail on all of them, in an afternoon. So that becomes the commitment, the first commitment. So unfortunately,
it's having the kids.
So one day that gets transfixed into what the most important relationship is, when the fact of the matter is that the most important relationship is between the parents, is the marriage. That's the most important relationship.
And I'm not condemning people who have children out of wedlock. That, that's between you and your God and whatever you do. Because for the grace of God, that could have been us. It could have been us. But what I am saying is that your children, if you plan on having a successful marriage or successful relationship, don't put your children before that relationship. You got to have a good, stable relationship. And then father and mother, those children, then you are stronger and more capable of taking care of your children properly.
Yeah, it's now I have to go do something technical, but I'll be right back. But the idea is, even on an airplane, they tell you when the mask comes down to put it on yourself first.
Yes.
Because then then you're able
to take care
of the children because you're not passed out, fainted, or oxygen deprived. You can actually take care of your children. Otherwise, if you put the mask on them first, you're putting it on them to take care of you. So that should be a really good example of what has to happen in a family, that the most important relationship in the house has to be the parents, because they're the ones in charge of taking care of the children. So put the mask on you first. That's the deal.
Take care of your marriage before taking care of your children. Your marriage needs to be strong. That's why a lot of times when people go into the process of having kids and stuff, it starts to dwindle and things start to fall apart because you haven't secured your two's relationship. How can you have a relationship with this newborn that is struggling and screaming for you at 2 a.m. in the morning, and you can't even you don't even like the person that's laying next to you? So you got two pressures on you. The person laying next to you wants attention, and then that baby wants attention. So who gets the attention first? Most likely the mother gets up and she goes and takes care of the child. But you got to find time to take care of your relationship. My husband's having a little technical difficulties
I'm good.
Here.
Go ahead. I'm good. You're doing good. I'm proud of you. Keep on, baby. You're doing good. You're doing good.
The marriage strength is important, because if you focus only on your children and taking care of them and staying and spending more time with them than you do with your spouse, what happens when that child graduates from high school or finishes college and totally moves away from your home, and you're there with a stranger because you spent more time making sure Johnny got to football practice and making sure that Johnny can play that instrument, and Johnny can do all. Johnny is very successful, but what do you know about your spouse?
And that's why I think that's why you see when the kids leave a lot of times, and people have been married 25 years, that they end up in divorce, and you think, what? Everything,
after all those years,
everything seemed to go so well. The children were so successful, and they were involved in this and that, and they were great. They were great baseball parents, and they were great football parents, and they were great band parents and orchestra boosters. And they seemed so happy. No, what they seemed was busy.
Yes, they were busy, and they didn't have time to deal with whatever was going on between the two of them. And then once the child is gone, then it's like, okay, who are you?
And even in situations where you don't see the same sort of divorce situation, I had a light go up, but we're still here. It was a battery powered light, so the electricity didn't go out the house. We're good. But the deal is that when the children need you the most, when they're of age where they really need you to be there for them, if they don't have that solid base to jump off from, to to make sure they can come back to, what in their teenage angst, when they're most angst time in their teenage years, if they can't depend on their parents to be there and to be that strong place, that safe place for them, because your relationship is crap, then you're really not helping anybody.
Yeah. Because at that time in their life, they are starting relationships and getting to know possibly their spouses and, who they're going to be as adults. And they come to you and want help with that. Well, you spent so much time on developing them when they were a baby or a kid. Now you can't help them when they are adults.
Because they look at your relationship, you know what? And I'm telling you, kids and people see more of what's happening than what you actually say. So they they can see the condition of your relationship. They can, and that's their first example. So if you're really interested in your children being successful and having successful relationships, then it is really important that first relationship they see is a strong relationship, and has all the elements that you want them to have in it. But you have to have that in your relationship first. So that's another reason why this relationship is more important than the next relationship. Now again, I'm not saying that you should be a tiger mom and not really consider your children in decisions that you make for your family. We're not saying that at all. But the most important relationship is not necessarily with them. The most important people in the house aren't the children. I think we have this whole this flipped upside down idea. We think that in a corporation that the most important people are the workers, when the fact of the matter is that the most important person in the place is actually the CEO. That's the person who has the responsibility to make sure that the company has the vision and all the things it needs to go forward. So the workers, the entry-level workers can still have a job. So it is the CEO who's the most important person. In a classroom, and I spent 15.1 years in education. The most important person in the classroom is not the student. The most important person in the classroom is the teacher, because you could have the kids in the classroom by themselves without the teacher. Then what do you have? Zippo. You got nothing. So the most important person in the classroom is not the student. It is actually the teacher. So we've sort of got this upside down because we are in a touchy-feely sort of,
politically
correct sort of time frame that has gotten really off course, and it's gotten relationships and families really off course by not considering what entities are the most important entities in the house, in the business, in the school. And people have taken this into their families with disastrous results, really, absolutely disastrous results. Again, the most important people in the household have to be the parents, have to be the CEOs of the house. That's my wife is having some technical problems.
I have the technical problems. I apologize.
It's okay. But that's the most important. I mean, that's really the most important thing. So if you can make, if you have small children, you can still make that adjustment. You still can, even if you have grown kids who are out of the house, you can still make that adjustment, because what we're finding out is even grown kids who leave the house, if they stay in the area, or actually with the advent of the internet, even if they don't stay in the area, still dominate a lot of their parents' time and their energy and resources and the like. And I know a lot of people don't like this, but I thought it was really hysterical to see the bumper sticker on the back of the really big RVs that say, "We're spending our children's inheritance." Now, there's a balance there, but
you got to take care of your children.
Well, yeah, if you can, you should take care of your children so they don't have to start over. They have to start at zero.
And you should take care of finances so that you have for your retirement and to leave an inheritance.
Yeah, so that, but the idea is that at that point, you still have a life that your life still doesn't revolve around especially your adult children who have kids and wives and husbands, that your life still doesn't revolve around them, that you have your own life. Why? Because you've built that relationship, and now that's just another phase of it when they leave and take their kids and their spouses and go off, and that's cool. That your relationship is solid enough that you can enter that next phase of your marriage. I think that's really important, and a lot of people right now don't. They don't. So if their kids don't come back and they don't get to spend time with them, and they don't have the same sort of influence, like we talked about in the last video, we talked about the role of parents in marriage. The parents who stay involved in their grown kids' marriages, I think it may a lot of the times be because they don't have their own
life.
They don't have their own life. Their life still revolves around their children.
Because they live their lives involved vicariously through their children. So once the children are adults, they still want to puppeteer their children's life. They want to tell them, what kind of house to buy, what kind of car, and how to raise their children. The grandparents are there as mentors and to help and guide, but they should not be raising your children.
No, they shouldn't be involved in the daily in the daily things of that family, because that family has its own challenges, has its own perspective, and its own responsibilities. That's the perfect time, once you got them up and going, is to continue on to the next phase of your relationship. I think that's important. But again, if you've always thought that the most important relationship with your children, if they've always been the most important things, I shouldn't say things, because they're not the most important people in the family, I think that lends to parents who end up being way too invasive into their grown children's relationships. Mm-hmm. So again, if you already have kids, and you see that that's already happened, it's not too late to pull out. It's not too late to make adjustments, make changes. Now, when you do that, though, your kids are going to freak out a little bit. Mm-hmm. They're going to think that they've been abandoned by their parents, depending on your level of how far you are into it. They are. And we're not saying that you stop supporting your kids. I'm truly not saying that you decide that, you know what, you're not going to go to their baseball games on Saturday.
No, should be doing that.
Please do that.
But always find time for your marriage. Always find time, don't make every single Saturday of your life of doing something with the kids. And don't ever take a vacation without your kids. Don't ever do, you got to have a relationship with your spouse first in order to strengthen your children. Let them know that it's okay for mommy and daddy to go out by themselves. Mm-hmm. And stay home with an older sibling or you know what? That's when the grandparents can come in.
Or grandparents or something.
Every now and then, not every weekend. The grandparents should not have them.
Well, because they should have a life too.
Yes.
And their life isn't like just waiting until they can come and watch your children.
What we're suggesting is a balance.
What?
People go from one extreme to another. Have a equal balance of time with your children, time with your spouse, letting the grandparents spend time with them. I remember I'm so fond of my summers because I spent my summers and I really look back now and think about it. They shipped
you away.
Yes. And that was time that my parents had to themselves.
Bye.
They shipped me off down here to Winter Haven. I spent a lot of summers with my grandparents here. They shipped me off to my father's mother, which she lived in the same town, but it was a distance away from us, and so we would go spend, me and my cousins, we would go spend the summers with our grandparents. So that was time that our parents had to themselves.
Never really thought about it.
And I never thought about it until now. There's got to be time that the kids are not the most important thing in the house. And a lot of times the kids, when they are made that way, they expect their spouse to think, well, she's the best thing since sliced bread, and you're going to be put up on a pedestal when you get married. And it's not going to be that way all the time.
No,
right?
That's absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. So I think Debbie's right. It gives children a sort of skewed view of their level of importance. We talk. In a social sense, we talk all the time about people feeling entitled. These kids feel so entitled, and I've said forever, it isn't the newfangled kids that are the problem. It's the newfangled parents that are the problem.
Parents are the problem. It's a different generation raising kids.
And I think because we have entered this sort of, and we call it in the school system, student-centric or child-centric education, child-centric everything, where everything in the world revolves around the 6-year-old. That adults can't do adult things. Adults can't make adult decisions. Can't make good decisions for themselves or the children because you always have to consider the feelings and the comfort of the 6-year-old. When the fact of the matter is that sometimes the 6-year-old is going to be uncomfortable by a smart, responsible decision by adults. And they will always think that they're the most important thing ever. And when the fact of the matter is, like I told you, like I just said, in a school setting, in a classroom, the student is not the most important thing. Now, a lot of us say that, but all you gotta do is think just one more
level up.
That without the teacher, what do you have?
Nothing.
Children of the corn. What you got? So the teacher is the most important person in the classroom. If the CEO doesn't do a good job, there aren't any jobs. Mm-hmm. That's all there is to it. If the CEO does a crap job, then the company goes away, and then nobody has a job. Nobody has a job. So it's really important. If you're on, I know I'm backing up to the video. If you're on an airplane and the mask drops down, and the kid grabs it, but they're not strong enough to open up the emergency door, then you're all going to die. And
you're on the floor.
You're all going to die.
Everybody's going to die. So the stronger person has to have the air.
The adult has to have the air because that's the person who can open the emergency door and make sure that the kids get out.
And the stronger person in the house
is the adult.
Is the adults. And they need to be strong enough to be able to go to work, to feed you, to take care of you, and all of that. So the most important person in that household are the parents, and not the children.
And the studies have already said that children who grow up in a household with a mom and dad who have a good relationship actually do better. So if you're really concerned about your children doing better, it's important that you and your spouse have a good relationship, that you build that relationship, so the kids have a good example. So they know what a good example is when they leave, and those kids do better. They are more comfortable. They're more secure. They feel safe. They feel loved when their parents have a good relationship. So that's what's important. Not that they get doted on all the time and get all the stuff they want. That's not when they feel the best. That's why those kids act out. You wonder, why does that kid act out? Is that everything? He gets everything he wants.
Everything he wants. Has the best clothes and the best shoes.
He's got everything. I don't know why they act out. Well, they act out because there's something missing in their lives, and what's missing in their lives a lot of time is how they view their parents, and that's not a secure. And that's the security that they need. That's what makes them feel comfortable. That's what makes them sleep. That's what lets them sleep at night. That they know that their household is in a good place, and the only that they can make sure of, that you can make sure of that is that your marriage, your relationship with your spouse is in a good place, and like we've said, we've had, I don't know, 700 videos so far.
Not quite.
Not quite 700.
No.
632. Making sure that your relationship comes first, because it's the most important relationship in the house. And I think that even if you have not been doing that, if you start doing that in a responsible way, I think you're going to start seeing some of the benefits of that. You will. There's going to be some resistance in the beginning because you're changing and the kids are figuring out what the heck are you doing. But eventually,
it'll all be for the best.
It'll be for the best. And frankly, the sooner you start, the better. Start this week. It's Monday. We're doing this on a Monday morning, so start this week.
Taking care of your marriage,
and you don't have to,
your relationship,
and you don't have to do anything drastic. You don't have to do anything crazy tonight when you get home with your children. But start. I don't know. Sit in different places in the living room. You know, if your kids normally wrap around their mommies before they go to bed, move one of them out the way.
This is my wife.
Excuse me. I want to sit next to mommy.
And I remember you doing that because Alex is a mommy's boy, and sometimes even now I notice that you get a little jealous of the relationship that I have with Alex. Sometimes it seems like he and I do things, and then you'll be like, "Well, what about me?"
They bought a car together.
We bought TVs together.
The car that Debbie drives now, they bought together. People when I drive, they go, "Oh, that's a nice car," and I always go, "I didn't have anything to do with it." I had nothing to do with it. My son and my wife went and bought this car. The two new TVs we have in the house, they went off and got together. Yeah, but that's fine. But that's cool. But that's after a long time. The stove. You see where this is going? Do you see where this is going? I'm like, oh, we have a stove.
But
is that the one we're getting?
We have to back up, and then I have to realize, this is my husband, not my son.
So, but you know what? And we'll disappear on a Friday sometime and spend an evening somewhere,
and then
weekend somewhere.
Friday evening we won't come home until late, and then my son comes home and he's like, "Well, where y'all been?"
Out, because I'm grown.
It's like he's the father.
Well, I think most of that is because he's concerned about it, obviously. But again, when you have small children, go ahead and do those kinds of things. You don't have to do anything big. You don't have to do anything shocking. You don't have to go on. You don't have to, dads. You don't have to show up and declare an edict tonight. This is how it's going to be henceforth and forever. You don't have to do that. You really don't. Oh, the garbage is coming in, and it's still in the house, and we have to wait till Thursday. We'll take it out and put it in a can. But I guess something's backing up out there.
But
that's not garbage.
It's about time to cut this down. We started a little late, so I'm letting it go a little overtime. But please take some time, spend it with your significant other. Take time out. We often take times out to get away and just be a married couple again. Identify yourself more than just as parents.
Yes. Not that parenting isn't important. We're not saying that. But in order to be a good parent, you have to be a good married couple first. I think that, I know a lot of people who, and I'm not talking about people who are single parents, but this is not dogging them out. No. So don't get all dark and crazy and twisted.
But some single parents, you have relationships that you're working on toward marriage. Don't let your children dominate the relationship that you're trying to build with
and even then, even if you're just taking, even you have to just take some time for yourself, decompress sometimes.
Sorry.
No worries. Do that, because you've got, especially if you're a single parent where all the responsibilities fall on you, it's real important that you
take some downtime.
That you take some time for yourself, if possible. So and people come into, and the whole single parent, the whole single parent thing is tough because people come into single parenthood any number of ways, by divorce, by death,
by choice,
and sometimes by choice. So it can.
Sorry guys, I'm having some issues with my eyes.
She's having
Allergies.
Some technical difficulties with her eyes. So it is. So that's a whole nother kettle of fish. And we're not talking badly about about people who are suffering, but are dealing with single parent. No, that's not good. That's not a good look. That's too much.
Okay, we need to cut this because I'm having some issues with my eyes.
We got some eye watering situation. So anyway,
allergies.
All right, folks. So listen, go to our YouTube channel.
I'm not getting emotional.
Like and subscribe and click the click the notification bell. Share our series with your friends and even the people that aren't your friends, because that's the most fun. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody.
Check out our new videos on YouTube. We're doing a lot of new stuff on YouTube. Tell them about that, babe. Yeah,
okay. I will. I'll do that. We've been doing some vlogging in addition to what we do every Monday. Like we did an Aldi's haul. We went to Aldi's. We're going to be doing more stuff out and about. And check it out because there's new stuff there, and there's more stuff there than what you see here on Facebook on Monday. So, and some of the new stuff's on the website. Go to the website, and I'm going to put the website in the description on Facebook and on YouTube. So, all right, we got to get out of here and make it for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and love somebody, learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself.
Peace.
We'll see you
when
we see
Have
you.
a wonderful week.
Yeah,
love you.
Do what you can. Oh, it goes. It lives. It lives. Well, kind of, sort of. Well, hey, we're late, but we don't care. We're late, but we don't care at all.
I'm on vacation.
She's on vacation. So, I'm on vacation. This is my day. So, good morning, everyone. Yes, I forgot the selfie stick, so we're just dealing with my arm. My arm works. We are here this morning. As you can see, this is not the addition to our kitchen. This is a place in Tampa called Armature Works, which is down in a part of Tampa called Tampa Heights that they have redone. This place used to be where they repaired the streetcars, but they've turned it into this sort of hipster place with a bunch of restaurants, and there's some bars in there, and a nice hangout space here that we'll show you a little bit more later. We were here, when were we here? Friday? Saturday? See, I don't know what day it is. We were here on Saturday for sort of a fun work function for my wife's job, so we had a good time with some of her workmates. And, we met here for dinner before we went down to Pirate, what do they call it? Pirate? I don't know the name of that company.
Taxi.
The Pirate Taxi. That we went on a little tour, so it was cool. Yeah, we're outside, so we're dealing with a lot of things. We're dealing with the noise of the street. We're dealing with the noise of the place, and the river, Hillsborough River, is right. Hang on a second. Right over there. So there'll be so there may be boat traffic as well. Hang on a second. I'm going to show you the place a little bit. They're decorated for Christmas. There you go. Gives you an idea of the space. So we thought we'd come out and do something different on our anniversary week. Wednesday will be our 31st wedding anniversary, and so we thought we'd do something different this week. Deb's taking some time off, and so we have time in the morning, so we're going to do that. I hope that you had a great weekend. I hope that that this Christmas season is building up to be everything that you want it to be, everything that you need it to be.
Some shopping done.
Shopping, yay! Yeah, go to the mall.
Spend money.
Yeah, Amazon.
Go online.
Amazon. Yeah. Yeah, Amazon. Your one-stop shop for pretty much, I don't know, everything. You can get like a, I don't know, bowl. You can get like a refrigerator delivered to your house. But the bowl will come in the same size box as the refrigerator. Is how they do it, I think.
Our mattress.
Our mattress. Yes, our neighbors had a mattress delivered. I don't know if it was Amazon. It was from Walmart actually. So Walmart does that too. So if you want Walmart prices, but you don't want the Walmart experience, you can actually order online at Walmart, and they'll send it to your house. They're finally catching on. Yeah, something else we have no control over: the sun.
But it's a beautiful Florida winter.
It's a nice day out. I mean,
yes, I love it.
I mean, we're in t-shirts and we're out, and there's a breeze, and the breeze is kind of warm actually. So, for all you people who are all bundled up and y'all love that, well, you can have it, pretty much.
We had our winter last week.
Yeah, it was in the 40s 2 days in a row. I don't like it, and I don't feel bad by saying I don't like it.
I can tolerate it.
I hate it. EJ, what's up, buddy? Hope things are good for you. But no, I don't want to be cold. I don't like to be cold. I don't like for it to be 70 in the house. I know. It was 70 in the house, and I was uncomfortable. Yeah, don't judge. Don't judge. But I don't like it. So it's, you know what? And ever since we moved here, I moved here in 1968, and we're not had traditional up north or northeast winters. It only took me a couple of years to get used to not seeing snow at Christmas time. It only took me a couple of years to not being cold and not have to wear boots and all that stuff. It only took me a couple of years to get used to that. And now I don't know, I've been here 50 years. I don't want it. I don't want to travel to it. I barely want to see it on TV. I get a little chilly when we go. If you go to Disney World and they put that snow on you. I mean, soap on you. I don't know if I like that either, but we're enjoying this weather. It's beautiful out. It's a beautiful day. Central Florida day.
What I thought we would do for a topic today would be to just talk about what we have learned through 31 years of marriage.
31 years. It's a long time.
31 years. And it has gone by so fast.
Like a class you never graduate from.
Yes. I guess you do graduate eventually, but we're a long ways from that. But 31 years, what I have learned is that it's easier to change yourself than to try to change your partner.
One of those things that they tell you, or the old people tell you when you start dating or you get married. Hey, Janetta, is that you can't change anybody, and then
you can't raise grown folk.
My grandma used to say you can't raise grown folk. But you know what? Because you're in love, and you've got this mindset that your love is going to be transformative, that you're going to be able to change people. You're not listening to that. Most people, unfortunately, end up learning that the hard way. They learn through arguments and divorce and the like. But the idea is that it's very true. You're not going to be able to change anybody. You're going to have to adjust, or you're going to have to change yourself. And sometime in changing yourself and your attitude and the way that you deal with things, people come around. And I'm going to move this so I don't seem like I'm, hey. I think the light may be better. Yeah, that's how we say God forgot might be nice. But it's my arm, and we'll see how long it lasts, and then we'll stop. But that's really the deal. The deal is that you're not going. Debbie's right. You're not going to be able to change anybody, and maybe in the changing of yourself is that you open the other person up to seeing things differently, or and maybe that's the way. But imposing yourself, imposing your will on them is not going to be the way that you're going to do anything that's going to last in a marriage relationship for very long. People may change for a little bit just to keep you off their ass. But that's all it is. But that's all it is.
And they go back to the same old thing.
Because people will go back to
get
what they normally
annoyed, and that's when most people, I want a divorce.
Yeah. Could you hold this? Because the wind, this beautiful breeze, knocked down my coffee. And that's a sad thing.
Yeah, we brought coffee.
Yes, we brought coffee. Okay. There you go. That's good. Thank you. So, be very, very conscious about but most of the time, hey Nikki, most of the time you knew that early.
You saw signs of things that they do that annoy you when you were dating or whatever. Whatever you thought, well,
oh, they won't do that. Well,
they'll do it more once you're married.
But I gotta tell you that's really a girl thing. Because I don't think men. See, well, no, men get into relationships thinking that things aren't ever going to change. Now, this is going to be great, just like it is now. So you can see that immediately you have a problem, right? You have half of the relationship getting into relationships thinking that things are never going to change, and the other half getting into a relationship thinking that
I can change
this has got to change.
Or her.
They're on opposite ends of the platform at this point. And what we're trying to tell people is that things are going to change, but they've got to change sort of organically as you grow, as a relationship grows, and children and finances and career, and then there'll be changes, and we have to be ready for those changes. But the idea of getting into a relationship thinking that it's never going to change is silly, and it's equally silly to think that you're going to get into a relationship and you're going to be able to change it or change that person. That's silly too. So the idea is, one of the things we've learned, and we're hoping to do this to help people, like, you know what, if you're in a relationship, no, guys, it's going to change. Things are going to change.
A lot of people walking down here.
Well, yeah. A lot of white folks walking to be healthy. Look, all these white people. Awful lot of honkies in here.
Really?
And everybody knows that's a quote from
The Jeffersons.
No, it's actually a quote from The Simpsons. Awful lot of honkies in here.
I don't watch The Simpsons.
Love The Simpsons. Watched it last night. It was great. And Family Guy.
And there's
great.
Rudolph.
Where? Oh. Are you someone who puts horns on who put antlers and a red nose on your car? Are you? At Christmas time?
It's cute.
Don't. Stop it. Do not put antlers.
Put it on my car.
No, well. Do not put antlers and a red nose on your car. Especially if it's like a 99 Lincoln Town car that's 15 years old. Just don't do it. It's not cute.
Back to subject.
Not cute.
No. What have you learned?
Not cute. What I've learned is that patience is a virtue. And not just a virtue, that patience is incredibly necessary. So if you've not practiced patience, practice it. Understand that it's something that's vital to any relationship, especially in a marriage relationship, that patience is incredibly important. Because patience is this. Patience moves you out of yourself, and patience moves you back into thinking about the relationship and your partner. Because sometimes you just have to wait. That's all there is to it. You just have to wait. Hey, Mel, there is no,
Can't stay stagnant.
there's
That's
no
right.
choice. You have to be patient. And because certain things, you know what, I teach saxophone, flute, and clarinet for a living, y'all know that. And people say, you must be so patient. Well, I'm not any more patient than I used to be. I just understand that certain things take time. They just take time. And you have to decide that you're going to invest that time into the relationship. It goes back to what we said when we started this, golly, almost a year ago. We started doing this almost a year ago. Is that whatever it is it worth the relationship? Is it worth waiting? Is the relationship good enough to worth waiting? To know that certain things take a certain amount of time. Well, for the most part, yes. So I will wait.
If you truly love the person, it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. I have to say, after 31 years, I wouldn't change anything about what we have gone through, because we've learned a lot through the process. Would it have been easier with more cash? Yes, that's one thing, but the things that we've learned through the process of 31 years, I wouldn't want to change it at all.
No, and Deb's right. We've learned, what, the part where we struggled, is the part that we've learned the most. And it's like anything else. Those times where you struggle the most is where the most education can happen. If you sort of get out of yourself and try to learn the lesson that's being taught. And a lot of times we get so caught up in the struggle, and we're so frustrated, we're not patient, is that we miss the lesson. And if you can get the lesson out of every struggle, what you'll find out is that the next time there's a struggle, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. You see it coming, you know what to do, you know how. It's windy. And we'll probably got some wind in the recording, but you can't control the wind. You can't control the wind. You can't control your hair either. So that's really, really important. That if you're interested, yeah, my hair's everywhere too. If you're interested, it's everywhere. Look at that, everywhere. So if you're interested in a long relationship, patience is key. You have got to learn patience. And it's one of those things that sometimes going into relationships, you don't have to be all that patient. Because both people in a relationship are falling over themselves trying to please the other in the whole dating thing. You don't have to be that patient. But when life happens, once you tie the knot, so to speak, or drop the broom, I don't know what you're doing now, but things will change, and people get involved in in the everyday monotony of life.
So don't keep it stagnant, as Nikki said. Make exciting things to do. Find something that you both like to do, or maybe that just one of you like to do, and you share it with that person. We do a lot of things like Hallmark movies that I'm sure my husband doesn't care about that much, but he watches them with me, and he's learned to like it. Football, as I said.
Football.
I have learned to love football. So a lot of times I'm sitting watching it when he's not, but it's one of his things that he loves to do.
We like football in my house. We like football. It's the South, damn it. Football. College football more than anything else. But again, those things didn't happen like week one.
No.
They didn't happen week one.
And the first few years of our marriage, you think those are supposed to be the honeymoon years, but those were the toughest. That's when you're establishing a family, learning about, their spending habits, yours, and against your spending habits, where, the laundry, who's going to do that and who's going to do this, and what you have. The first few years, people say that it's the honeymoon years, but those are the toughest because you're learning the person that you're living with. And people say, well, you should live together first. Well, we tried that, but still
it was different.
It's different when you get married. It's totally different. So don't think just because you live together and then you get married that it's going to be the same. No, it changes. there's marriage is a spiritual bond, and something about those vows, and that's why so many other people are fighting to have that, because it's a spiritual thing. It's a bond built when you say those commitment vows, or commitment, or the wedding vows, or whatever. That change, it's spiritual. I mean, say what you want, it does change things.
Well, yeah, and like Deb was saying, when in the first few years, especially if you're younger, it's a massive adjustment. For some people maybe who were living on their own before, or for a lot of people who weren't living on their own before, it's a massive adjustment, and it takes a while. It just takes a while to do that, and it takes a while to do that if you want to be good at it. Hardly ever does it mean those first 4, 5, 6, 7 years go smoothly like they do on Hallmark movies. I mean, they just don't. It's because it just takes a while to get, and that's why patience is so important. If you can find somebody to mentor you, that will be a fabulous idea. Yeah. But the idea is that it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while for things to settle down. On top of everything else, your career is starting. Is starting. You're moving your family all over the damn state. I did that, and then back in 6 months. So there's lots and lots to get used to. So you have to be patient. You have to practice patience with yourself, and with your spouse, and with your situation. Because you want everything to be awesome, but you know what? Things may not be awesome right away. So you have to be patient with yourself, your spouse, your situation, your children. You have to be patient. You have to practice patience. If you don't, then you're going to find that you struggle a lot. You're going to find that you struggle an awful lot. What are you doing?
No, I'm just checking.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, what?
Nothing. I'm just trying to find a way to keep my arm from falling off. Okay, wait. I'm gonna move back here if that's okay.
Do you want me to hold it?
Can you hold straight? Can you hold steady? We'll see. No. Earthquake! Earthquake!
It's a big known joke in the house, and I'm not a photographer.
Earthquake!
I cannot take good pictures, even with my cell phone. I'm sorry. I can't do it. And my son is a photographer.
Yeah, he is.
And I hold things, I shake, I do this and all. That's why I only film things when I'm on my walks, because then
people understand that you're walking. So it's, although one of those things, I think that smooth thing that no matter what you do, it keeps it
level.
Yeah, I want one of them for Christmas.
Yes.
I want one of them for Christmas. Smooth. SMOOBE. What we got? Yvette Green.
Hello, Yvette.
Good morning. Welcome to the broadcast. We're out here at Armature Works in Tampa. This is not our living room. We didn't knock down a wall.
And we're outside.
And we're outside. This is my house. No, this
One
is not.
day.
This is. I don't even know if I want this to be my house. But we're outside. We're outside here at a place called Armature Works, right off downtown Tampa, in a place called Tampa Heights. And we thought we'd come out on our anniversary week and do something different, and come out and talk to the folks about what we've learned over the past 31 years. Oh, December 5th.
December 5th.
Will be 31 years.
Will be 31 years. And we renewed our vows last year this time. It actually was Saturday.
It would have been Saturday, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
Isn't it interesting that when you say that you've been married 31 years, the reaction you get from people?
Yes.
They think you've cured cancer. They act like you've cured cancer. You're like, oh my God, that's so wonderful. So many people are going to live now.
It's very rare that people are married that long and last. And then the sad thing is that some people, after those many years of together, they still get divorced. So it's a blessing from
which I
God.
don't really understand at all. I don't understand how you do something for 31 years, and then you decide I can't live with you no more. Well, build a room under the house. Build a room under the back.
Some people do still live together and they're divorced, so it's a unique thing, but
Weird. No, you have the right word.
unique.
Weird, bizarre. But no, it's funny.
Hot out here.
But because the sun is right here, about 15 feet from my face. But we live in the Sunshine State. This is my winter. Oh, the weather outside is lovely. See, should I put the organ inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you. I'll take it back. I got it. All right. So, but that's but I think a lot of times where I work, I end up, and I think you too. I end up telling people I've been married 31 years or 30 years who aren't that old, who aren't even 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you got married before I was born? Yes. Yes. I've been married your whole life. And with their friends and sometimes their own family, when they see a lot of divorce, they're just amazed how people do it, because the culture is that now that you're not even supposed to. Like maybe your grandparent, maybe their grandparents have been married that long. Although I'm quite old enough to be some of their grandparents, but so they're always amazed that you got 30 years. Wow.
They think of us as the Bush family, like President Bush that just passed away was married to his wife for 73 years, I think it was, and she passed away earlier this year, and he just passed away Friday. So they imagine that 73 years.
I think that's impressive.
That is very impressive.
Yeah, but you know what? My guess is, and it's only my guess, that I don't know. They both said, "I guess we're in this for the long haul."
I'm saying it now.
But guys, at 31 years, hang on a second. We got a little. I told you we have a little noise. See? There's still construction going on down here. Oh, great! He's gonna go there. He's gonna be closed. Awesome. Fantastic.
We're probably gonna have to close out.
Yeah. So you know what? At 30 years, I guess we're in for the long haul. Hey, Maurice, thanks for dropping by. But we are here. Carlton, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate that. And I think that something you ought to do. Something else I've learned. Surround yourself with married couples that have the sort of relationship that you want to have.
Yes.
Surround yourself with those kind of people. People who want to make money will surround themselves with people who've made money. You know what? You want to be a millionaire? Try to surround yourself around people who've made $1 million.
That's what we're working on right now.
Right now. Try to put yourself around people who've made a lot of money, or who know how to make money. Put yourself around people who have good relationships, which means you might have to cut off some of your friends who've been married 6 times in 7 years. You might not want to hang out with them. So I think that's that's sort of a hard thing to hear, I know, but I think that's really important.
And that goes also in career-wise. If you want to be successful, be mentored or stay around people who are successful in what you want to do. You don't want to be around people who are going to discourage what you're trying to succeed in, or what anything that you say they're negative about it. They're not on your side. Be with them. Don't be with those people. And it goes without your marriage. If people, like he said, if they've been married 4 or 5 times and they're on their 5th wife and whatever, they don't have anything to tell you about.
No. All they have to tell you is about failure. And what you need more than anything is how to be successful. So that's what we've hoped to do this past year. We've been doing this since January. It's been almost a year.
February, actually.
That's a lot.
MLK Day.
Yeah, that's a lot. MLK Day in February? I thought MLK Day was in January. Didn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, it's been dang near a year. So, but that's really the deal. Surround yourself with people who have successful relationships that you can learn positive things from, that you can emulate.
And if you need mentoring and you want some help, email us.
Yeah.
We're here to help. We want to have your questions. We want to know how we can help people in their marriage. Are we perfect at it? We're still working on it ourselves, but we're pretty darn good at it.
We got 30 years in. We're in for the long haul. And if you're in for the long haul too, those of you on Facebook, you can reach each of us on Facebook. In our personal accounts, you know how to do that already. If you're watching on YouTube, just send me an email at wls860@gmail.com, or comment in the comment section below. We'll be happy to get to you. We'll get to you as soon as we can. Promise. We'll have you hanging out there forever. And if there's some things that we can help you with, we'll help you with. If there are things that we shouldn't help you with, that we should direct you towards a professional or a clergy, we'll do that too. All right. Well, I think it's time to get out of here and make room for somebody else.
Yes.
Because I may have to go to the hospital.
No.
For shoulder surgery.
We have to enjoy this beautiful day.
Get one installed. All right. We're gonna get out of here. Make room for somebody else. All right.
Please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook. Share this video.
We're going to see you on this. We're going to see some of y'all on our Instagram a little later today, and the rest of the week. So stay tuned. We see you again. Go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see y'all when we see you. Peace. Hit it with a peace sign.